Let's talk about the film Twisters, which is the latest film from Lee Isaac Chung. This follows the wave of legacy sequels that we've seen start to pop up ever since Top Gun Maverick took it to the next level with that huge box office. I feel like this is going to be not the last we see of legacy sequels. This is based on the 96 film that did a really great job at the box office with a 80 to 90 million budget, making almost close to $500 million. This film starred Helen Hunt as well as the late Bill Paxton and late Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I was not expecting to really love this film. Came out surprised. So before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and on the road to 35,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. Now, what do we think about Twisters? So this film stars Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, Anthony Ramos, Brandon Perea, and a slew of other actors. Like I'm telling you, this one's packed. Kiernan Shipka is in it. David Corenswet is in it. Katie O'Brien, among so many more. And I really was surprised at seeing how much of this young Hollywood that I think are going to have great careers moving forward was packed into this film. So the premise says, haunted by a devastating encounter with a tornado, Kate Cooper, who is played by Daisy Edgar Jones, gets lured back to the open plains by her friend Javi, played by Anthony Ramos, to test a groundbreaking new tracking system. She soon crosses paths with Tyler Owens, who is played by Glenn Powell, a charming but reckless social media superstar who thrives on posting his storm-chasing adventures. As storm season intensifies, Kate, Tyler, and their competing teams find themselves in a fight for their lives as multiple systems converge over central Oklahoma. Let me tell you, this film, like I said, I didn't have any expectations. I went in, they were on the floor. But let me tell you, as soon as that first opening scene ended, I said, we're watching something interesting and new that I don't think we've had in a bit. This is a true blockbuster at its core. I'm telling you, this is a film that you watch on the big screen. If you can watch it in IMAX, definitely do so. I know IMAX can get pricey, y'all. I don't even watch IMAX sometimes. But this is one of those films I was watching and I was just like, I would have loved to see this on IMAX because the opening scene is just so horrific. It is so intense, blaring at you from the screen, and you're just sitting there like, man, I would never want to be caught in a tornado. So honestly, anybody who lives in those areas, I definitely gotta say, be careful. But Twisters does provide some amazing direction from Lee Isaac Chung, because I think that what we see in a lot of disaster films or big action movies is we always see that the action or the disaster or the big thing, the spectacle and all of that usually does take front and center stage. And that leaves you with very shallow, empty characters that you really don't care about. Now in Twisters, whether they get it right, is that we care about all of these characters. We really get to know them as much as we can, right, in a 2-hour time that the film has. But especially the primary three, which are Daisy, Glenn, and Anthony, you really get a sense of who these characters are and all of their flaws and all of their things to highlight as well. And you really just feel for them as they get into these very scary scenarios that they're dealing with as well. And I think that's what's very important in a film like this, because then the stakes are raised higher when the third act and when things really start to get bad around here. And that's all thanks to the beautiful direction of Lee Isaac Chung, because sometimes there are moments where you don't even need a character talking. You just see how they interact with the characters around them, but the environment as well. And you really start to get a sense of who they truly are deep down. And I think Lee Isaac had some beautiful direction with that, especially when there's just moments of these characters out in the fields and there's just the beautiful score coming in. And it is just a gorgeous film to see, honestly. Very, very excited to see what Lee Isaac Chung does next, because they have this very subtle way of directing that is just so powerful, and I'm excited to see more of it. Now, the big thing about Twisters is you're going to want to have twisters in it, right? The tornadoes are no joke here. They really know how to show them on the big screen and really have the right moments and cuts in between how characters react to certain things happening in Mother Nature, and then seeing it unfold before your eyes is just incredible. I really got to give it up to the special effects, set designers, and all of that, because they were able to really give us these huge moments that just felt like, oh man, how would anybody ever escape from something like that, and really make it and give it a new twist as well. And I thought that that was something I wasn't going to see in this film. Is I felt like we were just going to see Twister 96 just revamped a little bit, but no, they really do bring it into this age, especially with social media and with company greed and global climate change and all of that. I was really fascinated by how they were able to put all of these components in there, but at the same time still have a story about redemption, about overcoming your past, and your past not really defining you, who you are, and things like that. So they were able to put so much of that in this film all at the same time. Now, I will tell you, there are some things in this movie that don't really vibe with me that much, is that it can feel a bit repetitive in its structure, because we're storm chasing, we stop, we storm chase again, we stop. It can get a bit repetitive, just see that over and over. But I do think that the characters and the writing kind of help to alleviate that, because we do get these very charismatic characters. There's some interesting plot points that start to unravel throughout the film after the middle, and I think that's what keeps you engaged. But if all of that wasn't there, it would be just a film where you see somebody storm chasing and they relax, and then they storm chase again, they relax, you know. And it isn't until that third act really picks up that we see anything else change. But I do think that those characters and the way the writing's handled and the actors are in it is what keeps this movie afloat a lot. So honestly, I will tell you, Twisters is a great film. It is a blockbuster, hands down. Definitely one worth seeing on the big screen, and the characters here are great. The acting is on point. Lee Isaac Chung's directing really got me. The soundtrack here is bumping, I'm telling you. The way Lee Isaac Chung frames everything here, especially when there are moments where it's just the soundtrack and the moving images, man, it is honestly breathtaking, and I'm excited to see this movie again just for that. The scope here is incredible. Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glenn Powell, and Anthony Ramos are very much so electrifying together. There's a ton of chemistry between them all, especially moments when just two characters are sharing stories or talking about how they're feeling in the moment. It just really gets you into the whole mood of the film, and I was very moved by many scenes with them. Overall, I do think that Twister's worth seeing. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. I do think that it can get repetitive in its structure with its story, but the writing and dialogue do really push it forward, alongside the great acting from everybody involved. And Lee Isaac's directing is just breathtaking. So go check it out if you can, and let me know what you think. But we'll talk more about it, because I really want to discuss more about how they were able to frame sort of Mother Nature and our internal struggles in just a beautiful way. But that will come out probably on Friday, because I got to talk spoilers for all that. But stay tuned for that. But anyways, as always, I'll see you next time. 35,000 subscribers is our goal. Check out our video on the Deliverance trailer breakdown, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.